Welcome students to the geography class, standard 8th. Today we will learn chapter number 3, humidity and clouds. Students, look at the picture shown. Here we have 3 pictures from 3 different regions. The first picture we can see a desert region. Example, Rajasthan. In the desert region, the air is dry and hot. There is very little moisture in the air. People living in such regions wear loose cotton clothes. Students, in the second picture we can see 2 people who are sweating. It indicates that the air is hot and humid. Example, Mumbai. Such weather is particularly experienced in coastal areas. The proportion of moisture in the air rises if dark clouds cover the sky. In the third picture, we can see a cold region. Example, Kashmir Valley. The children are playing in the snow and their mother is telling them to wear sweaters. It indicates that the air in this region is cold and dry. There is very little moisture in the air. People living in such areas cover themselves with warm clothes to protect themselves from severe cold. In the above discussion, the words hot, moist, cool, etc. show the condition of the air. They relate to the content of moisture in the air. Let's understand about moisture. Moisture are very small drops of water, either in the air or on a surface. Moisture in the air is invisible, but it is a major component of air which is taken into consideration while discussing the weather of any place. For precipitation, precipitation means rainfall, snowfall, etc. To occur in any place, presence of moisture in air is very important. Let us start with the first part of the lesson, humidity. Humidity in the air. The proportion of water vapor in the air is called its humidity. The dryness or dampness of air depends on the proportion of water vapor. Air can hold moisture in specific quantity at specific temperature only. As air cools down, its moisture holding capacity reduces. This implies that warmer air can hold more moisture than cold air. At certain temperature, the moisture holding capacity of air becomes equal to the proportion of moisture present in it. This condition of air is called saturation of the air. Now we'll learn about humidity of the air with the help of an activity. For this activity, we need some materials. We need to take a tray which is deeper in the center. Take a piece of sponge, and on the flat part of the tray, we will make holes with the help of nails. Keep the sponge on the center of the tray. Make sure that there is no water in the sponge. Pour water on the sponge with big spoon. Keep pouring water with the spoon till the sponge becomes wet with water. Note what happens if you keep pouring water even after that. So, you can see from the picture that the water which was poured got absorbed in the sponge. And in the second picture, when we poured more water on the sponge, drops of water started trickling out. The capacity of the sponge is fulfilled. Let's suppose that the air is like the piece of sponge. After the sponge is full of water, drops of water starts trickling out. One can tell the number of spoon of water required to make the water trickle down the sponge by observation. This implies that the water holding capacity of the sponge is fulfilled. This makes it saturated. Similarly, when the proportion of moisture in the air exceeds its water holding capacity, precipitation in the form of rain or snow occurs on the earth. The moisture holding capacity of the air depends on its temperature. Higher the temperature, higher is the holding capacity. We have learnt earlier that as we go higher in the sky, the air becomes cooler. So, as per this rule, as we go higher, the vapor holding capacity of the air will decrease. Humidity in the air is expressed in different ways. They are absolute humidity and relative humidity. Let's understand about absolute humidity. The measure of actual water vapor in the air is called absolute humidity. It is measured in 1 cubic meter. Relative humidity is a percentage of water vapor that a volume of air can hold. It is expressed in percentage. Let's solve the following sum. What will be the relative humidity of the air whose absolute humidity is 20 gram per meter cube and vapor holding capacity is 30 gram per meter cube? We'll write down the first formula of relative humidity. Relative humidity is equal to absolute humidity upon vapor holding capacity into 100. Now here we have absolute humidity 20, vapor holding capacity is 30 into 100. Therefore, we'll get the answer as 66.66%. Here the answer is the relative humidity is 66.66%. Next, we'll learn about condensation or densification. The process of changing water vapor in the air into the water is called condensation or densification. Dew, frost and fog are the form of condensation at ground level, while clouds are a form of condensation at higher elevation. The second part of our lesson is about clouds. Here you can see a picture of cloud formation. Clouds are a form of condensation higher at elevation. Land and water gets heated up because of the heat of the sun. Air near the surface heats up and rises as it goes higher. The vapor in the air turns into water and snow. Because of densification, or we call it as condensation, fine particles of ice and water float in the air at a greater height. They accumulate in the air and become larger in size. Their accumulation together is called a cloud. Next is types of clouds. Clouds are formed at different altitudes in the atmosphere. After observation, we can divide clouds in three main types on the basis of their altitude. If the clouds are at an altitude of 7,000 to 14,000 meter, then they are considered as high clouds. If they are at an altitude of 2,000 to 7,000 meter, they are considered as medium clouds. If they are at the altitude less than 2000 meter, they are considered as low clouds. Let's learn more about high clouds. These clouds are mainly made up of ice particles. They can be classified into cirrus, cirrocumulus, and cirrostratus. Cirrus clouds are mainly wispy. Wispy means very light. Cirrocumulus clouds look like group of small waves. Cirrostratus are like a bed sheet with wrinkles. They generally have a halo around them. Medium clouds. This includes altocumulus and altostratus. Altocumulus are in the form of layers and have a wave-like structure. Altostratus are not very thick. The sun can be seen through them. Last is low clouds. This consists of 5 types of clouds. Stratocumulus. They are white to earthy. They are round cluster of clouds can be here. Stratus clouds are ash colored and have uniform base. Nimbostratus are grey ash colored and causes continuous rainfall or snowfall. Cumulus clouds are huge dome shaped, grey in color, indicator of pleasant weather, and they bring rain. Cumulonimbus clouds, these are indicator of thunderstorm. Assignment: read the lesson carefully and solve the exercise given in the textbook page number 28. Solve the exercise given in the textbook page number 23. Do the activity at home given on page number 17 and 18. solve the sums given on the page number 19. Thank you.